there are going to be a lot of people telling you exactly the best systems and tools for wholesaling real estate with the intention to get you to buy something or do this or force you to do this one thing or tell you this is the only way. And you're going to have a lot of choices. Now, when it comes to tools and systems in wholesaling real estate, the one thing I'll always tell you is these things are tools, okay? They help us with what they do. We do not have to use any of these stuff. But these tools can be things to help us really project our wholesaling real estate operations to the next level. An example for here is going to be a shovel, right? And what I can tell you is some of these wholesaling softwares we're going to mention today and kind of this breakdown, a lot of these are free also, by the way. They are like shovels where if you're trying to dig in the sand, you can only dig so far with your bare hands, right? You can only go so far. But if you can actually go out here and use a shovel to dig, over an hour or 2 hours, you're going to see a big difference. Now, for a guy that uses a shovel for 30 minutes versus a guy using his hands for 14 or 50 hours, the guy using his hands is going to get way better just because it's more work, but he's putting in more time for it, right? And so what I have to teach you today and really show you is tools can change the way we wholesale houses. We can talk to 3, 5, 7x more sellers with the powers of tools and systems. And what I'm going to do today is really share with you the top tools and systems that I personally use in 2024 for wholesaling real estate and the ones that I highly recommend for you guys. So you know exactly what's working, what's not working. There's some big changes announced today. I'm thankful for having the largest wholesaling course in the country. So a lot of wholesaling softwares will go and tell me their big changes before they're released publicly. And I can go kind of give it to you guys in a first basis because they all hate the wholesaling gurus, right? And basically what I'm going to do today is really share with you the top wholesaling tools and systems that I use personally in my wholesaling business so you can actually go out here and do it, right? I'm going to really share 7 of the top ones. There's obviously more than 7 to use, but these are going to be the top ones that I'm going to highly recommend for you. So you can actually go out here and have wholesaling real estate results. So I'm super pumped up, super excited to teach you guys exactly the top tools and systems. I think a lot of wholesalers out here get really confused of exactly what works, what doesn't work, what I should be using, what I should not be using. And really going to get into the nitty gritty of it today so you know exactly the tools, softwares, and things you can do. And now, but before I really tell you what they are, I do want everyone to know, and I don't think any wholesaling really person says this, but you do not have to use any of these. I want to let everybody know you do not have to use any of these type of software systems or anything like that to become a successful wholesaler. If you're broke, you got no money at all, or heck, you don't have access to some of these, that's fine, right? You know, you don't have to go buy for any of this stuff, right? If you don't have a car, you can't drive for dollars, obviously, right? It's not going to be like you're not going to become successful. We have to do other things to help us propel us to success. But it's not that, oh my gosh, you have to have this one thing. And so what I'm going to do right now is let's break it down, not in order of importance, right? We're going to get into this and break it all down. So without further ado, let's talk about it. Let's get into this and let's break this down. And so the first type of software that I use on a regular basis, the ones I always tell everyone to be using, that ones that are just essential for success right now, is going to be a dialer. And my favorite dialer right now is going to be ZachDialer.com. Now, as of today, there are some cool announcements I can give to you that really no wholesaling personal on YouTube is ever going to tell you, which is pretty awesome. And so for the longest time, if you watched me kind of break down my top tools and stuff for 2023, a lot has changed when it comes to the dialer section. And so dialers used to be kind of, and I hate to say this, you know, people don't get happy when I say this, but like dialers are dialers, right? I mean, you put phone numbers in, it connects to you, it ports it through, right? And I'm just being honest, like, you know, people are like, oh, T-Mobile is so much superior to Sprint and Verizon. And honestly, man, like I just get the call, like AT&T, like it's not going to affect me for success, right? It's not going to be this big change. But what I've seen throughout the years with the dialer, there's some big changes happening. And throughout 2024, I've really been pushing ZachDialer.com to kind of the limits. And what I mean by that is I'm not the one, you know, crazy like the CEO type guy, but I've been telling exactly like things that need to be done so you can get better than the competition. And when you look at dialers, there's Ready Mode, there's Mojo, there's call tools, right? There's all these different calls and systems and dialers. And It used to be like Zen call used to be the thing. Now it changed to ready mode, right? But that was when like 10 line dialers were like the thing. Now 10 line dialers, you don't want to be using them at all because I don't want to get into the nitty gritty of things, but just like because of the lines and how the stirred shaken rules are with dialers and your phone number actually being called as spam, the number one KPI or key performance indicator when a carrier is looking at your phone, they're going to look at what is their average duration of calls. And if your average duration of calls, I believe, is under 8 seconds. So if your average call is under 8 seconds, you are going to be called under spam. So if you're having 10 lines, that's just not good. And if you have 3 lines and if you have good skip tracing, you're going to be pretty good on this. And so it's going to be a big change for you. And so what I'm going to recommend for you guys is a dialer. And so if you're looking to cold call motivated sellers, actually have conversations with them, right? You can use any phone, any dialer, but everyone knows, this is no secret from me, the greatest, hands down, way to actually become a successful wholesaler from the ground up, from the mud, from the trenches, you got no money, is to go start cold calling. I've always preached this. I've always talked about this, and I'll continue to talk about this. The skills of actually having conversations with motivated sellers and actually going through a quote grind as a beginner is an invaluable kind of a coming of age thing for most wholesalers. Most people have gone through the cold calling, and I know everyone likes to demonize cold calling, that it's a terrible thing, it's just a menace to society, but you get really good skills talking to motivated sellers. And so the best thing to do that is you can dial one person at a time, and that's fine. You get 20, 30 calls in an hour. But if you use a dialer, and the point where we're talking about dialers today here is you could talk to 3, 4, 5x more sellers instantly. And so you get 5 more calls, you probably make 5 times more leads, and that's 5 times more money. And dialers used to call 3 people at a time, 4 people, 5 people, 10 people. Now you need to use a triple line dialer only right now. And fortunately, right, last year in 2022 and heck in 2021, right? So we look at 2021, 2022, 2023, and then we're 2024 right now. Dialers haven't changed much, right? They just kind of put it in, they do their thing, right? And I said, you know what? It's like, I think it was about 50-50, I'd said. It was like 50-50. Like Mojo was good half the time and Zach Dialer the other time. And it's like, why do you keep recommending Mojo? And I love Mojo sells for $1 just because that was the dollar I used when I first started out in cold calling that helped me make $100,000 cold calling starting out. And so I'm always impartial to this, right? Batch leads like didn't have a dialer back then, or they really weren't a thing for software back then. And so it's not much to do. Now, Zach Dialer's been around for, I think, 2 years now, and it's going really well. They kind of added some more features that just blew Mojo out of the water. And this is why I love talking with Batch, and like actually I'm able to call the owners, have actual like talk to everyone on there and actually put my inputs. And I say the things that you guys are saying, and I get to talk to these owners. And the cool part about this is because I'm not a broke wholesaling guru and I actually wholesale houses, I know what a dialer should have, and I know what it actually needs for you guys, the users, to have success with it. And so ZachDialer.com is really cool. The setup's pretty easy. It's awesome. Everyone loves Mojo, but they're pretty similar. Now, the one thing that has changed now that ZachDialer.com has kind of announced and gone through it. Don't know if I'm allowed to talk about this, but I'm just going to say it because why not? You know, you're on my live stream and it makes a guru cry. ZachDialer.com basically has, it's not the official title, FYI, but it's basically their auto replace spam feature. And so now they're going to have a thing where they can tell, and they are working with pretty much all the carriers, and they will automatically tell you if that phone number has turned into spam or not. And if it does turn to spam, it will take your phone number, put it on kind of the sidelines for a little bit, make sure it's off spam, and then it'll give you a new number. It's kind of like football or basketball where they sub people in. Okay, we're going to sub that phone number out. We're going to put a new one in. And it's kind of an automated sequence how they do that. And with cold calling, this thing is absolutely essential. And this used to be like a kind of a beta thing for the SMS for them, I believe. But they've kind of moved it into the dialer prospect. And this has made ZachDialer.com pretty much the only dialer you can use, right? Like Mojo doesn't have this feature, and they're too big of a company just to not have this. And so for wholesaling specific, this is game changing for dialing and for using a dialer. And so if you're going to do it, I would highly recommend it. So what I'll tell you is the first type of software I'm going to tell you to be using right now is going to be ZachDialer.com. There's no one even close to it right now when it comes to a dialer, and one I highly recommend. Now, the next thing here, when I come to software and tools I use, For that, it's great. You can record your employees, you can make sure everything's going smooth, the KPIs are great. It's really wholesaling centric and specific. So that's why I think it's pretty cool. And that's why we choose that one over the other ones out here, right? Now, the next software that we use when it comes to comping, we're actually going out here and seeing comps on properties. Now, number one's going to be the MLS, obviously. There's some really good free tools too. I would say Zillow.com is great, Redfin, Realtor.com. But if we're talking about like a paid software specifically, I would say ZachData.com has probably the edge when it comes to comping. The reason is because I can kind of edit comps and I can kind of make adjustment on a comp. And what I mean by that is if I have 5 properties right here, and if one property I kind of don't like it too much, but I want to just make a little change to that one and kind of make my comps better, it lets me do it, right? It lets me kind of customize a property and a comp and add it to my own. I can kind of add things in, add it out. It kind of does a comping calculator on it. We've talked about it before. And now I know everyone's going to be like, Zach, why don't you do a screen share of ZachData.com? Why don't you do a screen share of ZachDialer.com? Why don't you do these screen shares, right? The problem is, and I've always said this before, and this is my YouTube dilemma, privacy policies have gone insane on YouTube the past year, where if I show someone's name and address and it's not a public information, which ZachData.com does not have public, it's private information, right? I can get the YouTube channel, have a strike, and I can lose the channel. You've seen gurus lose YouTube channels before, right? And I refuse to have that happen. I'm not going to let the gurus win. I can't let that happen. So I have a free wholesaling course. I've said this forever, freewholesaling.com, which I have my own private servers. I pay tens of thousands of dollars a month for. So I can actually share, set up video, stuff like that. And it's all in there. It's called freewholesaling.com. So just FYI, everyone in the comments is like, Zach, why don't you do a screen share? Why don't you? I would love to, but I don't want this video taken down. And really sad, but this is the state of wholesaling education I have to be in right now. To teach you the stuff. And if I did screen share, the video would be taken down. So comping tools, ZachData.com. It's great. You have MLS access. A close second is going to be listrei.com. And just so don't get confused here, ZachData.com, ZachData.com is batch leads. And then PropStream is listrei.com. The reason why I get the links is just so you can get a free trial to them. So you don't have to go through the mumbo jumbo of it and you're good to go. Now, comping wise, ZachData.com is going to be better, but let's kind of get into the stuff that really matters. Like, I mean, comping is great, but PropStream and batches comping, it's like not gonna. I hate. I don't want to be in the middle between them. I know they're competition. There's the reason why I like having them kind of compete is because they both spend millions of dollars to make wholesaling better, right? And so when it comes to comping as a software, I'm going to call them kind of new, right? I will tell you this. And I will give credit to where credit is due. And I do want to tell this before we kind of get into this, right? The next tool that I use, right? And this is going to be I call it just my one-stop shop wholesaling software that you should be probably use, like everyone's having, is going to be like list pulling, comping, kind of all together, right? And this is going to be it's basically a tie between PropStream and Batch, listrei.com, ZachData.com. But I will tell you, I do want to give everyone an education on this because as of today, there are new features on ZachData.com that kind of came out for like a new update for everything. And I will tell you this, and I always kind of say it like it is. PropStream hasn't came out with anything crazy. Hopefully, I know they're going to do it this year, but nothing crazy has happened. Batch Leads always kind of does their update before PropStream. But ZachData.com has a lot of crazy new features, which is really cool. They've kind of updated they've updated a lot of things. And the one thing they've made the data better. One thing I will tell you this, in my opinion, and this is Zach's opinion, this isn't Batch Lead saying this. This isn't ZachData.com saying this. But because Deal Machine started giving out free skip tracing, DMZach.com, Batch Leads has come back and said, you know what, we're going to do free skip tracing too. Now, it's not an official, they don't give tens of thousands of skip traces for free, but they give a decent amount, as of today. ZachData.com, I believe, is giving out 250. I got to check again, but I know for a fact it's 250 for the basic one, and then the Personal Plus is going to be 1,000 free skip traces per month, which it's really good to get the ball rolling, FYI. And so ZachData.com has that, so that's another big thing they're doing. Their agent outreach type thing. I don't like that name, but it's not. I'm not the guy telling you to reach out to agents for finding wholesaling deals, but for the disposition side, it's not terrible. So I'll tell you, it's something to look at. But that's part of the really big thing. They've done a big overhaul on their data, kind of their interface on this, their list pulling, right? They made a lot of things a lot better. Will I tell you it's like this world-changing thing that changes everything? I'm not going to say it isn't, but I will tell you that it's going pretty well. I've kind of been in talks with batch leads about adding some certain features. I can't talk about it, but they are working on some things that I think is going to really change the way a lot of wholesaling is being done. It's really going to shake up the way some of these companies are doing things, which is overall going to help the wholesalers out, right? In my opinion, I want all these softwares where you just basically you pay a little bit and you get all this great stuff, versus kind of back in the day where I had to pay a bunch of money and not get much. So it's pretty impressive. Now, when we're talking about list polling data specific, right? Let's get very specific here. When it comes to list polling, I will tell you, and I tell me I'm biased or not, but listrei.com, if I am pulling a direct mail list, I will tell you that listrei.com is the best one. I cannot stress this enough, but it is the best one. Yeah, just so I get the whole thing all set up here. But what I'll tell you here is when I'm pulling a direct mail list, right, and I'm spending a ton of money on it, the best software for this is hands down going to be PropStream. And I've everyone's got a different market for this. I've found a slight edge off of PropStream. It's not like, oh my gosh, Batch Leads is the devil. It's the worst software in the world. But Batch Leads has their advantages. And so that's the thing with these two softwares. I feel like one has a little advantage of the other, and then some have. It's like a football team. You got two elite football teams. One team might have a better defense, and the other team might have a better offense. But if you look at the team with a really good defense, they have an elite offense also. Same thing with the other football team. And so it's kind of who has the best mix of both, right? And so when I'm looking at PropStream, when it comes to list polling, I do think it is slightly superior. When I look at Batch Leads skip tracing, it is by far, bar none, the greatest quality skip tracing. If I can only get 100 skip traces on any software and I had to get a deal, I would choose Batch, right? Now, is best bang for your buck? There's other ones out there. But what I'm telling you is list polling wise, I'll tell you listrei.com is one I'm going to probably take. Now, if skip tracing is everything for me, I'm going to tell you, I'm probably just going to go out here and use Batch, right? So it's a very slight difference, I'll tell you. Now, let's kind of talk about skip tracing, right? So list polling wise, listrei.com, you're not going to go wrong with exactdata.com, just FYI. Now, if I'm looking at skip tracing pound for pound, if I'm like if I have $100 to spend for skip tracing, what am I choosing? Like, let's say, heck, you tell me you have $15 to spend on skip tracing, right? What are we going to do? I would say best money for skip tracing by far is dmzac.com. The price is about under 1 cent a record, and you are going to get 911 quality information. What I mean by that, by 911 is, YouTube doesn't get mad at that keyword there. When someone calls in on 911, their name and address pops up. And that's very good. If someone's like, God forbid, having a, I don't know the best way to say the word, right? If they're having like a stroke, God forbid, or a heart attack, and they can only speak a little bit, the name and their address is popped up, and they can send the emergency services and help the person out. That's good, right? And you have to use a service where someone's life's on the line, right? This is really important stuff. And so Deal Machine, aka dmzac.com, is actually able to get this 911 information and actually use that service providers that do it across the country. It's pretty dang good. And I've tested the skip tracing out like crazy. I've done it all. It's insane. Like, it is by far the best pound for pound money. It comes in under 1 cent a record. And that comes with free Deal Machine. And what I mean by that is, for I think 60, let me get that. It's about 3/4 of a penny per record, or maybe it's 2/3 of a penny. You're getting the nitty gritty. For like $65-$70, you get about 10,000 skip traces. You can basically not export out, but like basically you can pull it and actually get that list poll with the data on there. Now, theoretically, it's unlimited. If you want to go search up a property and click and get their phone number, and you did that for 300,000 records, if you want to do it in a night, you can do it. Like, it will let you look up anyone's phone number instantly in 5 seconds like that manually. I think it's 10,000 for just the clicking export part for the $60. If you get the $500 one version, like the bigger one for me, I get about, I think, 500,000, and I can pay for 1 million up to, I think. So I get about 500,000. For like $300 or $400 a month, which is just, I mean, for what I do, when I'm looking just to call a bunch of buyers and do cold calling around the whole country. It's insane because let's do the math here. If I'm doing a big cold calling campaign across the entire country, and I'm just letting everyone know, right? I'm doing the math here. If I'm doing 500,000 skip traces and I'm paying my average guru 10 cents a skip, that's 50 grand a month. I would be spending 50 grand a month and it's only going to cost me 500 bucks. That's crazy, right? And, I'm not the big fan of some of these skip tracing companies that are charging 14, 15 cents a record. And heck, let's say you're doing 10,000 skips a month. That's going to cost you 1,500 bucks a month when honestly, pay 60 bucks and you get the same quality of skip tracing, heck, probably better on dmzack.com. And so I am, to this day, and I hate to say this, that this is, it breaks my heart to say, I'm the only person on YouTube to talk about how dmzack.com has this, because every guru is beholden to the wholesaling software industry, because these wholesaling software industry people, they will go pay for their office or their YouTube studio. It's true. There's wholesaling software companies that will go out here and actually subsidize gurus' studios and staff to only promote them. Crazy, right? And I'm not going to say too much. There's about 3 or 4 people I know I can speak of, but I keep things on the down low. I don't start anything. I finish things, but I don't start things. So there are software companies that literally will go out here and kind of sponsor people and say, you have to only talk about me and say I'm good and everyone else is bad. It's like, wait, what are you talking? I talk smack about every software company. I think every software company can improve, and I don't think one's better than the other, right? There's something with slight advantages, but one's not superior crazy. So I'll talk about it. And heck, I'll say this, if PropStream came out with free skip tracing, I'd say PropStream probably has better skip tracing pound for pound than Deal Machine. But like to this day, it's not. So I'll say dmzack.com. I always change my recommendations because I don't care. And the cool part is, they can't really beholden me because I make money wholesaling. Like I don't make money as a guru. So like I don't give a smack about what they have to say. So I'll say best skip tracing for the money, dmzack.com. Now, if we're talking about the best quality skip tracing, ZackData. Let me just make sure that I'll go here to this one. Make sure I got my numbers right here. Let's see here. Yeah, it's about 8. Let me make sure here. Yeah, it's completely right. Yeah, that's what I thought. That's crazy. Yeah. All right. So yeah. So the top quality skip tracing I'd tell you right now is going to be ZackData.com. And right now, as of this video, ZackData.com just reduced their prices by, let's check so I will tell you this announcement. Let me get the official number here because I know for a fact, I believe with 7 add the 4. No, it was, yeah. Wow. Okay. So Batch Leads just reduced all of their skip tracing by 40% permanently. So let's do this here. So let me get the official numbers from them. It literally just happened today and yesterday. There you go. Exactly. All right. And so as of yesterday and the other days, it was about 12, 13, 14, 15 cents per skip on ZackData.com because it was super, super crazy high quality, very expensive. And it was very expensive to pull that list. But right now with ZackData.com, I'm happy to announce they are now at 8 to 9 cents, which is cheaper than any of the terrible, right? I've seen some wholesaling software companies that charge 11 cents for their skip tracing. And, they got gimmicks like, oh, you can get 1,000 for you, 2,000 free list polls or, whatever it is, right? And it's only, everything's good, but you just got to pay me my 11 cents for my skip tracing. Oh, blah, 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 blah. And it's the most trash skip tracing possible. I'm kind of convinced that they use dmzack.com and basically get what I'm convinced these companies are doing right now. And this is just a theory, just being honest. They'll pay 500 bucks for 500,000 skips. They'll go out here and charge someone 500,000 skip traces, a bunch of customers, 11 cents a skip, take 55 grand, pay 500 bucks for dmzack.com, and then make $54,000 profit. I'm pretty sure this is what some of these software companies are doing now because at under 1 cent a record, they're charging you 11, 12 cents. A lot of these crazy wholesaling software companies are actually probably going to use dmzack.com just to sell it. Crazy. But I know it's happening for a fact, especially on Fiverr, but I'm just letting you know it's happening. And so with Batch's data, they just changed it to 8 to 9 cents, which is huge. I think they did that because of what dmzack.com is doing. They're trying to compete with them. So it's it's insane. And so that's a pretty cool announcement. 8 to 9 cents on ZachData.com. So it's working pretty well. For skip tracing wise, I would say if you're looking for quality, ZachData.com. I mean, at 8 to 9 cents, that's really good now. If we're looking for best bang for buck, it's going to be DMZach.com. Now, if you're not doing cold calling on a big scale, you kind of have to do the math on it. But I'm just telling you, it's very, very well. So check it out. Do those ones, ZachData.com, ListRA.com, DMZach.com. Now, if we're looking for the best software when it comes to text blasting, and this has been a big change, I can tell you in 2024, then in 2023, but SMS regulations have gotten pretty crazy. I will be the last person to tell you. And it's not regulations with the government. I think everyone thinks SMS is having a problem because of the government going out here and doing things. It's not. It's actually the private corporation, right? Because they can't really make laws about SMS text blasting being illegal because it's an election year and the politicians are texting like crazy. So the companies are actually really going crazy on texting when it comes to wholesaling wise, and things are getting a little nutty. I will not lie. It is getting very difficult to text on AT&T, Verizon, Sprint, T-Mobile on like a regular, hey, are you looking to sell your property? Like it's almost, it's got the regulation. You got to put your company's name now. Heck, most of these, I don't know if I get in trouble saying it. There are 2 to 3 prominent SMS companies that just shut taking any new customers. Like they won't even take you anymore. And you got like SMSZach.com that will take people, but they're negotiating with AT&T Sprint currently. And so they're using not the best scripts possible, and they're trying their best for it. It is a struggle for them. I will not lie. And they're trying their best here, but it's not kind of going to be the best thing out here. And so what I'm going to tell you is when it comes to SMS right now, SMSZach.com is the best one if you're going to just blast it out with the software. But I'm saying I would probably just be careful with this, right? And the one alternative, and I always will give people alternatives. I'm never the guy saying, oh, SMS isn't working. Wah. You should give up and being a baby and not go after your dreams. Like, guys, my whole life is problems and solutions. And especially in wholesaling, when there's a problem that arises, there's always going to be a solution out here that we can do to actually get results. And so the first and foremost thing we're talking about here is when it comes to SMS, the solution is you're going to have to do a little more manual. We're going to have to go a little old school, but we can definitely do it. And the thing is just using our personal cell phone, using Google Voice, and actually using these softwares out here. And you can send out with the power of AI, which I teach in freewholesaling.com, my free wholesaling course. Let me repeat again, freewholesaling.com. Again, freewholesaling.com. You can actually go out here and text with Google Voice in your personal cell phone, 10 texts an hour for 15 hours. You can send 150 texts out, 150 texts a day. Over 30 days is going to be 4,500 texts. And then over a year, that's like 55,000 texts you can send a year. That's pretty dang good. And what I was kind of saying on my last live stream was like, on my personal Zach In channel, it's just like, well, think about this, right? If you're going to take 55,000 full court basketball shots, right? You're at the other hoop and you got to just throw the ball out there, chuck it and make it. What if you did that 54,000 times? You think out of 1 out of 54,000 will go in? Let me know in the chat. I can almost guarantee if I took 10,000 half quarters, I have my math actually. I sometimes do half quarters at the gym. I'll just go, play some basketball and then like I'll just shoot half quarters because I'm stupid. I think after like 30 or 40, they go in. I mean, just it's pretty easy, right? I don't try crazy like full quarters, but like if I took 54,000, I would one's going. Like I guaranteed. I can guarantee it really well. And that's the thing you got to think of, right? If I send 54,000 opportunities or shots, especially for a government list, one of those are going to yield some results, right? I mean, one of those are going to get a result. And that's the way you got to look at it, right? Just by using the free SMS, yeah, I know it's a little more work, but you're going to get results. You're going to get wholesalers that are going to do some deals with you. You're going to get some money. And so you have to start thinking like this. If you can actually go out here and just do 54,000 opportunities with spending no money, right? You're good to go. And so you have to get the results and you have to actually get the money. And the best way to get the money and the results is by just doing the work. Do the work and the results will follow. I swear to you, if you put the effort in here, you will do well. Now, that's for SMS. Now, if I'm using a software to collect my leads, kind of a CRM, what should I be using? I will tell you right now in wholesaling, if you are going out here and writing all your leads on a notebook or using like an Excel sheet or something, you're definitely wrong. You need to be using a CRM like Podio.com. And the one that we're personally using is Podio. Love Podio. Heck, Podio is amazing. I'm using SMS, Zach.com. We're using Google Voice. We're using all these softwares. Google Voice a little more now than usual. But when it comes to when someone wants to sell their property, we put it in a CRM. Now everyone's got, I got Salesforce, I got this one, I got this one. And everyone likes their fancy schmancy stuff. What I'll tell you is Podio is going to be the best. And because I'm a very simple guy, when it comes to, I run a 7-figure wholesaling operation across the entire country just off Podio. And the reason is because it's simple. It's easy. Like we can look at a lead and say, okay, what's going on with it? When's the last time you called? What's the notes? Did you go on the appointment? Did you not go on the appointment? What's going on? Is there a contract? It's simple, right? There's a 5-step process, basically, right? There's a cold lead. There is a lead that the person we need to talk to, we've talked to, they're on a follow-up, there's an appointment set, or a signed contract. Like it's just, you go through that and I can click a lead and be like, all right, which ones of these are cold? Which one of these need to be followed up and all these things. And it's pretty cool because like I can just go on my CRM for my entire company and be like, okay, how many appointments we got for today? It's all in there. Okay, how many follow-ups need to be done today? Okay, how many people on the follow-up still? How many leads have we talked to that we need to talk to, but like we haven't, right? And I get on people's butts for it, right? Heck, why do you think? What do you think I'm doing outside these live streams? I'm kicking butt. I'm telling people what to do, and we're getting deals done. And unfortunately, if you don't have a CRM, you're not going to see this stuff. And so Podio is great. It keeps everyone accountable, makes sure the leads are being worked and results are being done. And the reason why I love Podio so much is that there's an app on there. It's free. It's really cool. Podio is free for you to start using, right? I think once you get enough leads in there, you have to pay for it. But eventually, I think if you get 500 leads, you should get a wholesaling deal from there. You'll be good to go. But Podio.com, you should 100% be using it. It gives the results. It'll give you actually insane amount of money. And it's not going to change everything like crazy. But I'm telling you, just having that, it's going to help you get some more deals and make more money wholesaling houses. And now when I'm using direct mail, what software, what company, what tool do I use? I definitely use open letter marketing. And so I would literally just give you a link, go click here to get the postcard and stuff. There's a very specific postcard that we use that yields the best results. It's the ROS offer postcard on open letter marketing. But you should just go through our direct mail course. The direct mail course shows what the postcard is, gives you a link to everything. I will tell you should just go to mailingmastery.com. Now, mailingmastery.com is our direct mail course. So if you're looking to actually get into direct mail and actually get results, I will tell you mailingmastery.com is going to be the one you should be using. I see a lot of wholesalers go out here and, they're like, with direct mail, you got to be using open letter. I love open letter marketing for it. I'd be using their ROS postcard. It's not theirs. We kind of came up with the system together. It's going to be the best postcard, hands down. But you should go through the course, mailingmastery.com. It's all in there. It'll show you exactly what to do it. Now, if I'm using AI in my company, right? If I'm writing up SMS scripts, if I'm trying to pull government lists, I'm trying to look at comps sometimes, get repair costs, all this great thing with AI. I'll tell you the best AI software type tool is going to be Bard AI and ChatGPT. Now, DMZack.com has their own Alma AI, which is connected to wholesaling data, which is just game changing, right? Like I can just pop up the address and be like, hey, Alma, right? You can just ask it like, what should the repair costs be on this property? What's the MAO on it? And like, it'll do a lot of the math for you on DMZack.com. That's something I really love with it. But for general, like if I'm saying like the best top tippy top one, Bard AI is probably going to be my personal favorite because it's connected to the internet for wholesaling. But in general, if you look at an AI system, the ChatGPT 4.0 is the best, but I think you only get 3.5 right now if you use the free version. They're both amazing. I'll tell you, a lot of people think AI does all the work for you. It does not. AI is only as good as the questions or the things you give it to it. But if you look at the Zackin channel, my personal YouTube channel, I actually did a full top 7 tools for AI. That was really cool. Where I broke down exactly every which way to use AI in 2024 for wholesaling. We should probably do an update for that in on the Flip the Brick channel. But what I'll tell you is AI is here to stay. It is not going anywhere. It's what we perfect. Yeah. And so we'll do one breakdown of this in the future on the Flip the Brick channel. But what I'll tell you is AI is here to stay, and it's only getting better. And we got to learn how to use it, or our competition is going to use it and get some results, right? And so next here is, what is the best wholesaling course that costs no money? I had the best wholesaling course that costs money is freewholesaling.com. The best wholesaling course that costs no money is freewholesaling.com. And I sound like a broken record, but the reason why I'm doing this today is because I'm going to do one-on-ones with people. And when I do one-on-ones with people, they're going to ask me questions. And these are questions that if you went to the course, you would never have to even know about this stuff. And so what I'm telling you is you got to go to freewholesaling.com, my free real estate wholesaling. The reason why you need to go to free stinking wholesaling.com is because I'm going to show you step by step how to wholesale houses. I'm going to hold your hand and show you in a course, if you paid me 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 grand, of exactly how to wholesale step by step. Simple, right? So I'll tell you, wholesaling course, no cost, freewholesaling.com. It is to this day the only course in the country for wholesaling real estate from A to Z that teaches you wholesaling real estate absolutely for free. Heck, if you even want to join FlipClerk Plus, it is the only mentorship, mastermind, community type thing that you can join for free if you just send me a wholesaling. That's crazy, right? Like literally, if you want to go see me in the spring for our big Flip with Rick Plus live event that we're going to announce really, really soon, really excited about that. You can be like many, many people in Flip with Rick Plus who showed up to this event that I'm spending tens and tens and tens of thousands of dollars for to just hang out with me for 12 hours for 2 days straight. So 24, you get 25, 26 hours of me personally. And I will literally go through your entire business for you and talk to you face to face. You can do that for free by just sending me a wholesaling deal. Like I'm not a guru. This is the difference, right? Now you can pay to join FlipDirect Plus if you want to go there instantly, right? We are going to raise all the prices on FlipDirect Plus very, very soon. Just FYI. Because I'm just trying to force everyone to send me JV deals instead and not pay to join FlipDirect Plus. And still, we have a paid way for FlipDirect Plus because there are some specific tiny markets I don't do, like Wisconsin right now that we are working on. Once I'm able to JV in every state, I'm probably just going to stop having people pay for it and just be like, you just have to send me JV deals, which is kind of mean to do, but I don't want FlipDirect Plus to be like 5,000, 10,000 people. Once it gets that big, what's the point, right? But yeah, right now, freewholesaling.com, learn how to do some deals, send me some deals, and you get to see me in person and join the community and join other people like that. Be pretty dang cool. And so Luke says, next event's going to get nuts, right? Our event I did in my small town where I live in Florida, and we're about to do it in a big town where everyone can go and party hard. I will tell you this. The next place I am doing is going to be a place where I've done a decent amount of virtual wholesaling deals, because I do want to go there and actually, I want to do a whole thing where I go visit a bunch of properties I virtually wholesaled. I just think it's cool to do that. So I no announcements yet, but yeah, if you want to join that, FlipDirtPlus.com is where you do that, but freewholesaling.com right now, straight up, that's where you got to do to learn wholesaling real estate for free. Now, kind of like I said, if you want to join FlipDirt Plus and actually go to the live events, all these things, you got to send me some wholesaling deals. And the best way to send me wholesaling deals is going to be sellmypaper.com. Now, when it comes to wholesaling disposition software, join this one. Sellmypaper.com is my dispositions company. And that's basically where if you have a wholesaling deal, you send it to that website, you submit all the information, then me and my team and some other people, right? It just depends where in the country it is. We'll have our underwriters underwrite the deal. They'll look at it. They'll say, is it a deal or not? If it is a deal, they'll go contact you, sign a JV agreement, get the deal done, and then we'll all split the assignment fee and all make some money. Boom. And the reason why I do that is for a lot of things, right? I teach real estate wholesaling for free, and a lot of people really struggle selling their deals, and I can make a ton of money doing it. So heck, why not? You got to remember this. If I have a $25,000 wholesaling deal, and let's say I get half of that, that means I'm going to collect $12,500, let's say, on one wholesaling deal. And people send a ton of wholesaling deals every single day on sellmypaper.com. If I can do that, and I literally have my employees do pretty much all the work, and I just collected $12,500 of just not doing any work, I can do multiple. I want to do, like, hopefully in the future, 5 or 6 of those a day. Like, that's like 80 grand a day. And that's not even virtual wholesaling or my actual wholesaling. That's just like sellmypaper.com. Why would I go out here and do a discovery call and pay half of that to a team to do that and be like a guru and make 3 grand net from doing one-on-one Zooms with people all day? That's crazy. That's ridiculous. And so everyone asks, like, Zach, why do you do FlipDirect Plus? And why? Because do you guys understand the opportunity that sellmypaper.com has for me and Rick to make millions and millions and millions and millions and millions of dollars? And that will allow me and Rick to, by far, become the biggest, largest wholesaler in the country by a wide margin. Like if I'm able to start closing four, five, $6,000, 6,000 deals a year, no wholesaler can even go close to that. And that's the biggest flex I have on any broke wholesaling guru is I do more deals than you. Like I do, like I could go to a broke wholesaling guru and be like, dude, I'm doing like 5,000 more wholesaling deals than you. Even the top ones, like I said, I mean, I'm doing all these more deals than you, and you're broke. You're still selling courses, and I'm doing more deals than you. And just like, it's hilarious. So if I'm able to go out here and just become the biggest wholesaler in the entire world at 24, and I'm 24 years old, by the time I'm 30, 40, 50, that's insane. And you got to remember this, as a man of integrity, I have a lot to lose if I screw you on a wholesaling deal. I think this is one of the biggest issues I see in the wholesaling industry is there's a lot of shady people. And you know for a fact, if sellmypaper.com or Zach Ginn screws you in a deal, you can document I screwed you on the deal. Like for a wholesaling deal, it's pretty easy if we screwed you or we like took the deal away from you and stole your deal. My entire reputation's ruined. That's a lot. There's a lot on the line there, right? And the problem is when you talk to Joe who DMs you, in Tennessee with you, there's a decent chance he's going to screw in. I've had a lot of people screw me on JV deals, right? And guess what? Then you lose out in the deal. And so the reason why I'm doing this because I want to be the trusted dispositions guy because a lot of people I can screw you on a deal, right? I don't want to mention any companies because then I'm going to get sued and do all these stupid lawsuits, but like there's a lot of bigger dispositions companies that will screw you on a deal.